So in this video, I'm gonna go over a couple of random financial things that have been on my mind. And these are just absolutely random in no specific order. It's just things that I hear in my normal life. And I hear these questions all the time. Sometimes they annoy me, or I hear it and I just kind of wonder, like, how does someone not know the answer to this? So, and just in the terms of a rant, I'm not angry at all, just sharing out some good knowledge to the media, the mass population, and maybe that'll help others out there. So let's see. So I got my trusty book. Number one, so stop saving pennies. I just been watching YouTube videos and reading things, and it's good to save money. Absolutely, totally agree with that. Save money, but I encourage you to focus on things that actually matter. So focusing on things that are going to save you a lot of money at once. Don't print coupons. Don't try to save $5 here and there. That stuff is going to really, in my mind, is a waste of time, especially if you're going to spend hours on a hunt to find that slick deal or that sweet thing. Now, there's another side of the spectrum though. Let's say it's a very expensive item. Let's say you're trying to buy a camera, a computer, a laptop, or a phone. Okay, maybe looking for 5% off or 10% off is going to be substantial, and it's probably worth your time. But what I'm saying is, just don't worry about the small things, get the big things. And really, this is going to help with time efficiency. Another thing too is, if you have big reoccurring payments, I would encourage you at least once a year to take a look at it. A couple examples. The examples of like insurance saying a few phone calls can save you thousands of dollars. In a sense, that's actually true. One of the examples I want to share is insurance. That's a big thing that a lot of people don't pay attention about. If you have car insurance, typically you just pay it every 6 months to a year, and you don't worry about the rate that's actually going up every single year. I encourage you to spend 1 hour every year just looking at competitive insurance rates. Same thing too with your home loan. You can look for a different insurance on your home that's going to be cheaper. Those small things, a small amount of time, literally could be worth thousands. And if you calculate that as an hourly rate, you could be making $800 an hour. Much better than the typical W-2 job that many of us do have. So that's my big rant number one. Don't go for the small stuff. Don't waste your time on the small things. I mean, if you have an example of buying one thing cheap and it's next to something else and it's a quick decision, go for it. But don't spend a lot of time on it. Just make it quick and snappy. Rant number two here. The housing market's going to crash, and we all know that's going to happen. The data is out there. As I always say in my videos, the real estate market will always lag behind other things, economic factors, stock market, etc. We're already seeing this with the unemployment. There's been a huge spike of unemployment. I'm not sure if anyone is actually paying attention besides perhaps the experts in the economy, but really I think we all need to start paying attention to this a little bit better. Right now in the United States, it's been lagging from the traditional unemployment, weekly stipend of $600, now quoted at $300 to $400. Some of it's paid by the state. Still a significant decrease, and it's still a huge delay in payments. There's a couple states right now that have been 3 weeks from the standard $600 weekly unemployment rate that have been giving money out, but that is a huge lag in time. And it doesn't even say if $300 is going to be enough for the average American family with unemployment. And I do think it's not going to be enough. So we're going to see an increase in evictions. The government's been trying really hard to prevent evictions from happening and delaying, payments and rents and maybe mortgages, furloughing things out, furloughing student debt out. And that's just a ticking timer. Right now, I still anticipate in 6 to 12 months, there's going to be a housing market crash. How is that crash going to happen? Well, there's going to be a lot of people that can't afford their homes because of a lot of factors, typically mostly unemployment. And with that, it's not going to be the same as it was in 2009. In 2009, it was a big different factor with how the housing bubble happened, where people kept paying and loans kept giving, the banks kept giving out larger loans for homes for people that they couldn't actually afford, and this was a lending issue predominantly. Right now, what we're seeing, it's not predominantly a lending issue, it's really a job market issue in economics, where the middle class has been shrinking significantly in the past 10 years. So Where was I going with that? Well, so like I said, it's not going to be a national level effect and housing market crash. There's going to be some market crashes, and primarily it's going to be on the high end spectrum, so your A-class houses, and then your very low end spectrum, so your D-class and potentially C-class markets that are going to be affected the most by this historical factor. And so that's my point number 2. Housing market will crash. It's just a matter of when, and are you ready for it? Rant number 3. So what is A class? What is B class? What is C class? Michael, what do you mean by this? Okay, so it's basically a generalization in the real estate market. Typically investors will use this. A class just means something that's super high end and luxury. B class can be, it's nice, it's good, but it's not high end. And then C class is working class. It's good, it works, it does its job, but it's by no means nice in any way. It's okay. And then D class is just total crap. You got holes in your walls, you got things out of code, and all of that. And so with that, there is not really a metric or a calculator you can look up that says this is A class, this is B class, this is C class. You just have to know the trends in your local area. So if there's a high-end market, let's say in LA, and prices are millions of dollars, and everything is extremely nice, granite countertop, high-end fixtures, luxury style layouts. That is going to be something in the high end, the A-class market. And you got through D-class, you got the holes in the wall, cement building, things are out of code, it's extremely run down, vacancies all over the place. I encourage you to look up in your local market and talk to your local real estate investors to learn more on this. It's basically a generalization, so don't get stuck in the weeds on the terminology. As you get more experience, you understand and you'll be comfortable saying, yep, that's a B-class house, that's a B-class neighborhood, and so forth. Next thing here. Okay, should I rent or should I own? Big question, always comes up all the time. Really it boils down to what do you want? What do you want in life? Where are you in life? And how long do you plan on staying where you are? Take a look at the market. So if housing is extremely expensive in your area, look at rental rates. How much does it cost to rent? And convenience. Is it close to your work or is it far from your work? Are interest rates high? Are they low? Can you afford a down payment? Do you plan to stay there for a long time? Those things you got to factor into. Sometimes it might not be worth owning a home just because it costs 4 times as much as rent. In that case, you might just want to pay rent. Sure, you might be losing to your monthly rent that doesn't go to a mortgage and paying it down. But that's an opportunity cost. You can spend that extra 3/4 that is cheaper to rent to save up and buy something else down the road when the market dips. That's my topic number 4. Last one I have for you guys is, what should I invest in? That's always a big question that I hear all the time. I don't know. It depends on what you want, what you're comfortable with, what's your strategy, and what you're interested in learning about. So obviously there's a lot of different things happening right now in the market. Probably the bigger thing that I'd probably recommend, everyone's talking about investing, using money, using it good, making your money work for you. Today and right now, basically September of 2020, it might not even be worthwhile of investing, especially if you're new into the specific market that you're in. If you're into real estate or interested in real estate but haven't done it before, I would highly encourage you to not do a rehab right now if you don't have experience. It's a lot of risk involved because I anticipate the housing market to crash, and it's going to be a tight market. So I would encourage you to actually hold on to your money. Stock market, it's hard to tell. You don't have control of your money. Sure, you can cash out when you think trends are happening, but ultimately you can't control the trends. So keep that in mind. I probably think the best thing you can do right now, rather than investing, I would just say, I would encourage you to hold on to your money right now, actually, because what's going to happen is that when the market does crash, what's going to happen? Well, lending is going to be extremely hard to get. Credit scores are going to matter much more. So with that, it's probably more advantageous to have cash on hand. We've heard in the past, cash is king. This always holds true. Obviously there's going to be inflation happening along with today's economic factors, but with time, I think cash is still going to give you the advantage with the housing market and the investor market with stocks and whatnot. So that's all I got for you. Those are my 5 top things I wanted to throw at you. If you have any questions or recommendations for future videos, definitely let me know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.